What's up guys, and welcome to my video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace your clutch in a 07 GSX-R 600 step by step. The purpose of this video is because well, it was time for me to replace my clutch in my bike, and I wanted some help by going onto YouTube and looking up the process on how to replace it. And I've noticed that there's a lot of videos that are very bad quality and skip steps or whatever, so I'm hoping this video will be more informative and efficient and straight to the point as compared to some of the videos on YouTube. Let's get to it. Before you start the project, first you want to have a standard ratchet socket wrench. Anyone is fine. You're going to want a 8mm socket. This is for the clutch cover. You're going to want a 17mm socket. This is for the oil bolt. Some gloves, obviously it's going to get messy, and some nice paper towels. So in order to replace the clutch, there's either you can drain the oil completely out of your bike, or you can lay your bike on the side and the oil will just stay out of your way while you're changing the clutch. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to remove the oil cap so air can go through the top and let the oil flow out very easily. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you're going to take your 17mm socket wrench and undo the oil bolt. You're going to want to let this drain out completely. Alright, what we have here are my friction plates for my clutch kit. I've been soaking in oil for about 4 hours now. I think they are ready to be installed. Okay, well, all the oil has been drained now. Now I'm going to use my 7mm socket to undo all the bolts on the clutch cover. Let's do it. There's no real specific order you should be taking these off. I just go one by one. I don't think it really matters. I like to crack them open first, a few turns, and then undo the rest by hand. Alright, so got all the bolts off now. I know there is a crankshaft sensor right here, so we're going to have to make sure that doesn't get damaged at all while we're taking this case off. Try to be careful while doing this because there is a gasket that I want to reuse because I do not have a replaceable one or replacement one. Alright, so there is the crankshaft sensor. I'm gonna have to you're gonna have to unscrew that and let it hang or something, because I don't see me being able to work around it, so let me do that. Alright, the next thing you want to do is you're gonna take a 10mm socket, and you're gonna undo your springs, the spring bolts. So I'm gonna go in a star pattern just because I feel it's relevant. Alright, now that I got the springs out, it's time to take this first portion of the basket off. So what you want to do is, when you're doing this, you want to make sure you take everything off and remember the way that it goes back on, because that could turn out bad. So I like to keep everything upright as I take it off. Looks like some of the plates want to come off with it. So I took the cover off and these plates came with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put these plates as I took them off over here, just so they all stay as they were when they came off. So one thing on this the clutch cover is, if you turn it around and you look, if you look right here, it has a little notch. When you're putting this back on, you want to make sure that this notch lines up with this notch over here. It's cut out right here on the top so that they fit together properly. And you can see by these two little circles with the lines in it that this part right here, you want to fit it in between those two lines. And when you're putting it back, obviously you're also going to have these 3 holes in the back. That's for these pins to go back in. So here's the notch. You want to put it back just like that, and you don't want any play or any serious movement while you're doing that. So okay, so as far as just the clutch replacement, you don't need to worry about any of these parts in the middle, this bolt or this pin right here. Just leave that alone. You don't need to worry about that right now. All you're concerned with is the friction plates and the steel plates that we will be replacing. When you're dealing with the clutch, you're going to have alternating plates, which friction plates, they have Kevlar on it and other things. Well, all of these plates, all of the friction plates are the same except for one, which is the very last one that's inside. It has a little bit bigger internal diameter. I don't know why, it's just that's what it is. But as far as these plates, they're all the same. You know when it's time to replace these, when, I don't know if you can see here, but they start getting a little blued and worn out. That's when you know that it might be time to replace the plates, but these still look fairly well, so I could reuse these if I wanted to. Pulled this last friction plate out. With this friction plate, when you're installing your new set, this is the one that you have to be concerned with as to which one goes first inside of the basket. With this one, you can tell the internal diameter is bigger than your average friction plate, and the width of this part right here is smaller than all the other friction plates. I don't know if you can see that right there. As you can see, this friction plate comes in a little bit more and is wider than the last friction plate. So remember, when you put this back in, make sure that this one is the very first one you put in. The bigger internal diameter, smaller width of the friction pads. This small steel plate is the last thing that you get. You want to make sure the curve is pointing towards the bike, so it curves in like this. So I'm ready to put my new friction plates in, so let's go ahead and put this back. And when you put it back, make sure it's all the way back towards the bike. Now I have the very first friction plate. Remember, the internal diameter is wider than all the other plates. You'll be able to tell. If you can't tell, then I don't know what to tell you, but just ready to put it in now. So we're gonna line it up with the teeth up in here. I just pulled it out of the oil and I wiped it down just a little bit, but so we're gonna put that in first. It doesn't matter which way you put it in or whatever, just make sure it lines up with the teeth, and then put it in, push it all the way to the back. All the way to the back so it's flush with the back. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to get your steel, and the thing with this is it has a rounded edge, a beveled edge right here on this side. That is due to, I believe it's due to the stamping process, but that's just how it is. And this side is flat. And again, this one, it doesn't matter which way you put it in as far as like this, but make sure the rounded edge is towards the bike. And my hands are kind of greasy, so I just grease it up just a tiny bit. And when you're putting these in, you're alternating each fiber and a steel. So I just put in a steel, next is going to be a fiber. Push it all the way to the back. We have a steel, remember, beveled end towards the bike. And with this last fiber, I'm not sure if you're supposed to do this or whatever, but the last video I've seen, the guy, see, we've been putting the tabs aligned with this so they slide all the way to the back. Well, if you scoot it over one, there is a piece of metal here that stops it from going back, and I believe that's to hold it in place better. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of putting it right here and will it fall in line with the other plates, I'm going to offset it just like this, so it locks in that last little notch there. With these two lines, or these two circles right here on either side of that notch, and then these will fall in with it. Just like that, and everything fits nice and snug. Just like that. And then finally we're going to put the springs back on, and then we'll finish off with the case. I didn't show you guys the steps on putting the case back on. I didn't think it was necessary. You just do the exact thing that you did while you're taking it off. The spring foot-pounds, the torque is 7 foot-pounds, and that is also the same for the case. For these small bolts around the case, they're also 7 foot-pounds. Nothing special, just putting it back on. Just make sure you add a little bit of oil to the gasket, and you should be good to go. Let's see if this thing works. Alright, everything looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and go test this on the road. I'll let you know in the description if it's good or not, but thank you very much for watching my video. Be sure to rate it, and hopefully other people get to see this process.